We live in a twilight world. Yeah, man, let's do another quick video. I'm going to call this one The Endless Wheel of War. And yeah, man, we're going to look at war on a superficial level, and then we'll look at it through the lens of illusion warfare and whatnot. But yeah, man, obviously with the current events that are going on in the world, this is the perfect time to kind of like, you know, change our perception on how we see war and not get dragged into the massive kind of loosh fest that it is. And yeah, not get dragged into taking a side, not get dragged into participation either in real life or online. You know, ultimately, you know, it's energy warfare. They want your energy. And the trick is, you know, not to fight energy, but to dance with energy. So anyway, the endless wheel of war, okay? Okay, here we have a conventional force. Yeah, what we're going to do right now, we're going to move illusion warfare to the side. We're just going to look at this on a superficial level, how like the normies and people in the military see warfare, right? You've got to remember that most people in the military and even the intelligence services don't know they are being played and are participating in a performance. They don't know that they are actors on the world stage, okay? They are just following orders. Always remember that. So, yeah, we're going to look at war for the sake of this recording for a superficial lens, okay? So you have, and then we're going to cross-reference it with illusion warfare, and then we'll look into Israel, Palestine, and the red flags that are coming up as to, you know, why this war is obviously not a real war and how they're doing the complete opposite of what you would do in a real war. So, yeah, here are conventional forces, yeah? In it, you know, I've put, you know, a tank, uniformed troops, fighter jet, you know, conventional forces. You know, if these guys have invaded a foreign territory, the best tactic against them is guerrilla warfare, okay? Guys that dress up as civilians, you know, run around in the shadows, blend into the local populace. They're like ghosts, yeah? They will cause havoc. There will be a nightmare for conventional forces, okay? When these guys, you know, it costs billions per day to have these guys, you know, trying to occupy a foreign territory. These guys will just come out of the shadows, blow up a tank, and then disappear back into the local populace, right? The local population will be providing cover for them. And the more these guys harass the local populace, the more support grows for the guerrilla warfare, the guerrilla fighters, okay? So guerrilla warfare is the best thing to use against conventional warfare. Okay, so what's the best thing to use against guerrilla warfare? Psychological operations, yeah? Propaganda, smear campaigns, whispering campaigns. This is when you would implement psychological warfare. Apologies as well if you hear me burping and slurping. I've got a coffee right here. But yeah, that's why I can't stand the truther community that keep calling everything a psychological operation. They don't understand what psychological warfare is and how it's used, okay? The sole purpose of the psychological warfare is it's non-physical and it has a specific goal of demoralizing the enemy. Yeah? So essentially what they would do is, because these guys are, you know, these guys are no good against the guerrillas, so you'd put these guys into play, right? Psychological warfare department. Media, you know, radio, leaflets, newspaper articles. You know, they'd even start up like kind of like underground, you know, on ham radio and things like that. And essentially what they would do is run kind of smear campaigns against the leaders of the resistance. They might release, whether it's true or not, it doesn't matter. They might release stories about how the leader is actually living in luxury. You know, while his guerrilla fighters are out fighting the conventional forces, the leader himself, he lives in a mansion. He's getting coked off his face all day. They might try and say that some of their leaders are actually involved in some sort of paedophilia situation where they've got young girlfriends and that. They might start a campaign, a rumor that their leaders are actually in cahoots with the conventional forces and taking money and deliberately not winning the war. The sole purpose is to get the local population to stop supporting the guerrillas and, demoralize them in their campaign. And then obviously, the hearts and minds factor will come in. These guys will also be trying to portray these as good, as they only want to come here to help, and they're going to, increase your economy. They're going to build hydroelectric dams for you. They're going to build up your infrastructure. They're going to supply water to your city, psychological warfare. Okay, what's the best thing to take out a psychological warfare department? These guys. Conventional warfare. They'll just blow up all of the offices, all of the, radio stations, the communications towers. If these guys are occupying the land, it's going to be very hard for them to be running a powerful psychological warfare campaign, right? And that's it, yeah? You understand it's a wheel that just goes around and round and round. For every force, there's a force that will counter them, okay? And it just goes around and round and round. Now, obviously, I've made this very, very simple. I've simplified it. You could, in fact, put air power in another category. We could add special forces in that would probably go in undercover, some. But like I said, you've got to remember, guys, most of the people that listen to my content, they're not too clued up on military strategy. So I made this a very simple display, that people can get it right. So yeah, war is just forever going around, yeah. And this, of course, when you're looking at it from a distance and you're kind of like clued up on every war is manufactured, every war is engineered, every war is illusion warfare and made to happen. It's not made to be won, it's made to just go on and on and on forever. And of course, what we really know is, really, via illusion warfare, there will be intelligence services standing behind the shoulders of each one of these, telling them when to go, when not to go. And of course, those intelligence services will be under the direct control of the double cross. Yeah. They will move these guys around like mere pawns on a chessboard, making sure that they don't ever actually connect in actual real warfare and it remains theatrical and Hollywood, okay? So anyway, that brings me to the current conflict in Palestine, Israel, the IDF versus Hamas. Okay? Israel is preparing to go in by land, sea and air. As we just spoke about, yeah? If this was a real war, Hamas would be acting in guerrilla warfare tactics. The worst thing you can do against guerrilla warfare is go in with conventional forces. That is absolutely, are we led to believe that the leaders of the Israeli military have never read, Sun Tzu's Art of War? They have no military strategy and they're just accidentally doing the wrong thing? Of course not. It's all designed, okay? A good thing to do, guys, is read Sun Tzu's Art of War, which is essentially it's essentially a guidebook how to navigate a war. If you read between the lines, it's also a guidebook how to create the illusion of war. You've just got to flip it on its head. And what you notice with all these current wars is all the good strategy you would see in the Sun Tzu's Art of War, everyone does the complete opposite. The classic one being like, just don't besiege a city. There's no point besieging a city. No one wins if you blow up a city. And what do they do every time? Like in Bakhmut, certain parts of Mariupol, like with Gaza, what they're going to do now, like certain parts of Syria, they besiege the city. They blow it to pieces. They do exactly what you're not supposed to do. Because you've got to remember, it's never a real war. We've been under a one world government since World War II. every war is by design, is engineered, is part of the matrix, and so on. So yeah, they are obviously doing this complete wrong thing. And then if we flip it around, we take a look at Hamas, who should be taking the role of guerrilla warfare, i.e. not wearing uniforms, having no distinct markings, blending in with the local populace. We're being presented the complete opposite. They have this kind of very vivid and visible marker, this green bandana they're all allegedly wearing. Obviously, this is all costumes, okay? This is all to be appealing to the people in America and the Western world that are watching at home, okay? The green bandana signifies these are the bad guys, right? A bit like in Ukraine-Russia ridiculous war, where you had Ukrainians wearing uniforms covered in blue gaffer tape, while the Russians wore uniforms covered in red gaffer tape. Anyone knows in the military, you would never ever, to see, it's just wrong, okay? Because there's no point wearing camouflage. There's no point wearing camouflage if you're then going to go layer on top a bright coloured bit of clothing. You might as well wear your jeans and a t-shirt at this point, okay? So yeah, Hamas are doing the complete opposite of what you would be doing in a real war, and having no identifiable clothing and blending in with the public. That's what good guerrilla fighters do. These guys obviously having their tag, because these are actors, okay? These are actors, and color coding them helps the very stupid, retarded masses at home understand who is good guy, who is bad guy. And of course, would you really GoPro your whole war crime atrocities and then hand your footage over to the Western media, which is mostly owned by wealthy Jewish families? Of course not. It's ridiculous, okay? These are all of the red flags that tell us this is not a real war. It's a manufactured war, a Hollywood war, false flags, and illusion ops all day long. We live in a twilight world. There are no friends at dusk.